this is Bill, and today we are going to be making spaghetti with truckloads of vegetables. There is a vegan version and a non-vegan version involving these little guys. But the non-vegan version is so good that I wanted to include it for my omnivore friends. I've been getting a lot of requests for multiple types of recipes, including omnivore and carnivore recipes, so I'll throw them in when they are appropriate. In this recipe, we have tomatoes and red bell peppers, stevia, basil pesto, and 2 varieties of kale. We'll be making this today with rice pasta, spaghetti pasta. Here we have some rice pasta. I'm just going to toss it in the pan, and we're boiling water over here for the eggs. We will cook the eggs for 6 minutes, and not a moment longer. They are fresh from the refrigerator, so these are cold eggs. It's important to understand how to boil eggs and have them come out just right, but that's for another video. Now we're going to chop the kale. This is a wonderful process. These are, I don't know the names of these types of kale, but they're just amazing. I always think about what it took to grow these things, how long they were in the field, and what they experienced while they were being grown. I know it's a weird thought, but when you get close to plants and you start growing them on your own, you'll understand what I mean. Look at this beautiful kale. Kale has the highest nutrient density, I believe, of any vegetable. So this recipe, while delicious, is also going to be incredibly nutritious. I don't use any oil when I make spaghetti. I don't think it's necessary, but so it doesn't stick together, you can take a wooden fork and just separate out the spaghetti while it's getting started so it doesn't form those big nasty clumps at the ends. The eggs are well on their way to being cooked. This is a 6-minute egg. Set your timer for about 7 minutes for the pasta. It's been boiling for a minute already, so a total of 8 minutes for rice spaghetti pasta. Once it gets a little bit flexible, stir it together, making sure that it isn't separated. I don't need to use a lot of water. I never found it as terribly necessary to use 4 quarts of water to just boil spaghetti. I consider it wasteful of water, and also this is reverse osmosis water, so I try to keep the use to a minimum as not to waste it. Voila! Now we are going to cut up our vegetables. Yay! There are 2 types of knives that I like using. One is a fish fillet knife, which is like the one on the bottom, and the more classic new design of a chopping knife, as you can see up top. This one is great because it's very, very sharp and easy to navigate. And this one is just great chopping up vegetables because it's got a little bit of weight to it and yet not too heavy. The way I do kale, well, the way I chop it is I bring the rib to the back here, so you can have it this way or that way, and then I just cut along the rib and very quickly remove it. As you can see, this makes for very quick work. We are chopping the kale into very thin strips, as you can see here. Scope. You can even make it narrower, but this is kind of a rough 1/4 inch chop. For this dish, I also chop it in this direction. The reason we hard boil the eggs is because it requires no oil, and the centers remain soft, which the recipe calls for. We will have them and place them on top of the dish. Without any oil, eggs are much healthier, and with a soft center, the nutrients within the yolk are preserved. That is why boiling eggs is such an advantage. Lovely. Okay, so the spaghetti's done and the colander's ready to go. All right. Okay, so now we're going to take our tomato, this beautiful tomato I got at the Ocean Beach Farmers Market yesterday, beautiful organic tomato, and red bell pepper. This will give the dish color and crunch and substance. I bet you're wondering what the coconut's for. Well, we'll get to that. And the stevia. The plant's just there because it's a plant. It looks pretty. Okay. Cool. At this juncture, you can add a little bit of roasted garlic olive oil to your spaghetti. Just a touch. And mix it in nicely. While it's in the colander, it's fine. And this gives it body and some flavor with the garlic, which is really nice. You can salt and pepper here as well. I choose not to. Now we're going to crank up the heat again with a little bit of water in our pan here, our wok, in order to steam these guys. So the kale will be steamed, the tomato and red bell pepper will be chopped, and the basil will be amazing. And the eggs will be cut in half. It's a great recipe. Stick with me. Okay, so we're now going to steam our kale for exactly 30 seconds. About a second longer. And like stir frying, you put it in the pan and you just, I think some people might call this parboiling. Barely cook it at all. Notice it's turning this beautiful green. And then you're done. Okay, so now you take the spaghetti and you put it on the plate. You'll notice that it's a little bit in disarray. So you break it up a little bit as best you can. This is one big meal. You can put it in a serving dish as well. And then you drain your beautifully parboiled vegetables in the spaghetti dish. You don't even have to clean it up. Just get it all beautiful. And you take those veggies and you dump them onto the spaghetti thusly. I love that word. Yeah, I got that from growing up in Connecticut. Yes, grew up in Greenwich, Connecticut. People are always so impressed by that. I don't know. It's kind of a weird place. Well, any place is weird when you're a kid, I guess. So, isn't this beautiful? Check this out. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay? And now we're going to chop up our half red bell pepper and our tomato. Yum! Red bell peppers are a great addition to any meal, but they should be purchased organically grown. Conventionally grown red bell peppers contain way too many chemicals and are at the top of the danger list. Enjoy red bell peppers, but buy organic. I decided that this needs to be tossed better, so I'm going to put it in here. And I'm going to toss it. Isn't this great with one hand on the camera and one hand cooking? By George, I think I can do anything if I can do this. I know you're just loving my camera angles, but This has to be pretty well mixed. You notice it kind of goes to the bottom in a bowl too, so you got to be careful. Get it mixed well. Those veggies are just amazing, and they're going to taste incredible when they're done. We're going to put the pesto sauce in there. There are many oil-free versions of pesto that you can make. Plenty of recipes out there for it. Today we're going to be using Kirkland pesto. It is a delicious pesto made by Costco. Very low in toxins. Basil is generally considered to be safe. Enjoy pesto, but usually best make it yourself. Okay, now we're going to add about 4 tablespoons of pesto to this mixture, and hopefully it will mix beautifully down. Doesn't this look like it's getting to be amazing? Okay, so we'll add the bell peppers, yum, and the tomatoes. I leave the tomatoes pretty big. I just like larger tomatoes. I just think they're kind of wonderful that way. And we'll just mix this down and begin the presentation on the plate. Now this recipe is incredibly amenable to Parmesan cheese, and you can put, of course, a little bit of pesto inside of each of the egg yolks. Tastes amazing. Oh, so you're wondering about the coconut and the stevia? Well, stick around. Don't go on any long trips.